My name is Brandon Crandall, and I would like to start my presentation with a quote that I could not help but think of as I prepared this speech. It was said by the Dalai Lama in response to the question, "What surprises you most about humanity?" His response was, "Man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, and then dies having never really lived." Now, with that in mind, I want you to imagine you just woke up, you feel sick and run down. You are older and now dying of terminal cancer, and the doctors tell you that you have less than 1 year until your body is going to shut down. You are scared, you are depressed, and you are demoralized. Not only is cancer ending your life prematurely, but it is robbing the enjoyment out of your final days on this wonderful planet, the time you could be enjoying with loved ones and reminiscing about a life well lived. You have thought about death throughout your life, and now it is staring you in the face and you are struggling with it. How often do you really think about death? What if I told you there is a way to make your transition through the end more mentally comfortable? I'm here today to talk to you about the benefits of psilocybin mushrooms for palliative care in terminally ill patients. I've been interested in the effects of psilocybin on anxiety and depression for many years now, and have read numerous studies about the subject. Psilocybin could be the key to people being able to truly enjoy their final days on Earth before moving into the next stage of existence, whatever that may be based on your beliefs or non-beliefs. I believe psilocybin should be legalized for palliative care in terminally ill patients. So why would someone need help at the end of their life? Well, it is extremely common for terminally ill patients to become depressed and demoralized. In 40% of cases, people who receive a diagnosis of cancer alone experience significant stress that can lead to panic attacks, anxiety, and depression, making a bad situation even worse. These symptoms can have a dramatic effect on daily functioning and a patient's ability to enjoy the remainder of their lives. In 2019 alone, over 600,000 people died of cancer. Think of all the people that this type of care could possibly benefit. So many of us go through life without thinking about the end. We keep ourselves busy with everything else going on in life, and then if you are lucky or unlucky enough to know when your time is coming, it can be hard to deal with. What if we could make this time better for the people that receive this tragic news? What if it did not have to be as tragic as it has been for previous generations? So this is where psilocybin mushrooms come in, and this is the good news. It does not have to be this way. There is research that points to psilocybin being able to negate many of the negative effects that come with a terminal diagnosis. In one study called the NYU Psilocybin Cancer Anxiety Project, which was an FDA-approved clinical trial of cancer patients that were dosed in a clinical setting with psilocybin, they found that psilocybin produced immediate, significant, and sustained improvements in both anxiety and depression. And about 80% of those people showed sustained benefits nearly 7 months later. 7 months. That's after 2 doses of psilocybin. This is not a pill. This is not an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety pill. That you'll have to take for the rest of your life. This is just from 2 doses of psilocybin in a clinical setting. They also found reductions in demoralization, which is a very common and deep source of suffering for people at the end of their lives. Both demoralization and hopelessness were improved immediately after the session with psilocybin. 70% of the people in the study reported that the experience was either the single most or in the top 5 most meaningful experiences of their lifetime. Almost 90% reported that it improved their life satisfaction. In another similar study, but on healthy volunteers, not with terminal illness, this was conducted by researchers at Johns Hopkins, it was found that 2 months after sessions with psilocybin, 71% of the volunteers in that study also rated their psilocybin experience as among the 5 most spiritually significant experiences of their lifetimes, which was very similar to the findings that were in the original study on terminally ill patients. 79% of volunteers rated that it had increased their current sense of personal well-being or life satisfaction. Community observers, such as their family members, their friends, and coworkers, their ratings tended to confirm this. And I also want to note that those volunteers and coworkers and friends that were monitoring them did not know that they were being dosed with psilocybin in a clinical setting. They were simply being asked, "How are you doing?" These are amazing findings in my opinion, and I think they hold a lot of hope for anyone struggling with the end of their life. Imagine a world where your life did not end when you were diagnosed with a terminal illness, where it was simply part of the experience and it was possible for most people to take it in stride and actually enjoy what is left, instead of becoming overcome with depression, anxiety, and demoralization, where watching your parents get older and succumb to illnesses was not exacerbated by the pain of watching their mental state deteriorate due to the mental stress of impending death. Based on these studies on psilocybin, this therapy could make that possible. So, how can we make this type of care available to the people who could truly benefit from it? For people like you or me in the future, or a loved one whose final days we want to be happy and meaningful instead of sad and riddled with stress and anxiety, robbing them of what they have left. So, we need to take action. First, we need to work on changing the federal scheduling of psilocybin. It is currently a Schedule I drug. This means that it has a high potential for abuse and no legitimate medical use. But if you look at this study and multiple other studies, I think it calls into question if it really has no medicinal use. It truly helped these cancer patients improve what was left of their lives, and it could potentially help many more. Once we change its scheduling as a drug, it can be admitted to even more research studies to prove its benefits to more people. At a state level, and a city level, a local level, we can work on decriminalizing the growing and possession of psilocybin mushrooms. They've already been decriminalized in Oakland, California, and Denver, Colorado. When you see the opportunity to vote for the decriminalization of psilocybin mushrooms, go out and vote. This one action is something we can all do to help these medicinal fungi become less taboo and more readily available, and eventually a true means of helping people who are struggling with the end of their lives and potentially more. I hope you found my presentation interesting and informative. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe.